Okay, so when you think anaconda, what comes to mind? Probably this massive, powerful serpent, right? The undisputed king of the jungle, the apex predator of the Amazon. It's an image straight out of a movie. But what if that whole picture is just wrong? What if the anaconda's life isn't about power, but about a constant, brutal struggle for survival? Are we looking at a fearsome king? Or is it possible we're looking at one of nature's most tragic victims? So, you've got the myth, this invincible, feared ruler. And then you have the reality, a creature that's constantly hunted, often starving, and really just a survivor. Let's break down that reality, and we're going to start right at the very beginning. For an anaconda, the hardship starts the absolute second they are born. This is not some story about a prince being raised to rule a kingdom. Nope. For an anaconda, life is a desperate fight from its very first breath. Just try to imagine this. The moment you're born, your mother is gone. Forever. There's zero protection, nobody to teach you how to hunt, how to hide. You are completely and utterly alone. And within hours, pretty much everything is trying to eat you. We're talking jaguars, caimans, even large birds. They all see a baby anaconda as a quick, easy snack. And the result of that brutal welcome to the world? Well, it's staggering. Somewhere between 90 and 95% of anacondas never even live long enough to become adults. Just surviving infancy is probably the biggest victory of their entire lives. But okay, let's say an anaconda actually beats those insane odds. It survives. Well, its most famous feature, that incredible size, now becomes its next huge problem. It turns out its greatest strength is also its greatest weakness. I mean, think about what it takes to fuel a body that can weigh up to 200 kilograms. That is a massive biological machine that needs a ton of energy just to keep running. And when it finally does score a big meal, that's not a celebration. It's a huge risk. The anaconda becomes totally vulnerable. It can spend a week, sometimes more, just digesting. It can barely move, and it definitely can't hunt. It's basically a sitting duck, just hoping nothing stumbles upon it. So all of this leads to a pretty shocking paradox. Being huge doesn't mean you're always eating well. It just makes everything riskier. A bigger body means you're in a constant, desperate fight against starvation. And believe me, the struggle doesn't stop with just finding food. Even the most basic biological instinct, reproduction, is an incredibly dangerous, life-threatening ordeal, especially for the females. It's called a breeding ball, and trust me, it is not a romantic courtship. It is a chaotic, violent mess. You can have up to a dozen males all swarming a single female, wrapping around her in this frantic, competitive knot that can last for weeks. For the female stuck in the middle of all that, it's an absolute nightmare. The sheer pressure from all those males can literally suffocate her. It can crush her ribs and her internal organs. A lot of females don't even survive the process. Mating itself can be a death sentence. And that is a big if she survives mating, she then has to go through a 7-month pregnancy. And during that whole time, she doesn't eat, not a single bite. She just lives off her own body fat, losing up to half her weight. She gives birth practically starving, only to immediately abandon her babies to the exact same brutal start that she had. So, let's recap. The anaconda is fighting off predators, it's fighting off starvation, it's even fighting through its own reproductive cycle. But the threats don't stop there. The danger comes from the outside world and from inside its own body. See, these snakes are semi-aquatic. Their lives depend on water. But when rivers dry up during a drought, they can get trapped in the mud and literally get baked to death by the sun. And at the same time, their own bodies are a battleground. They deal with these awful skin-destroying parasites and fungal infections that can blind them, stop them from being able to hunt, and eventually lead to a really slow, painful death. So after all of that, after surviving being born, surviving starvation, surviving mating, pregnancy, disease, and drought, the anaconda still has to face its single most dangerous enemy, the one true apex predator in its entire world. So what do you think that is? After everything we've just talked about, what could possibly be more dangerous than a jaguar, or starvation, or even its own mate? The single greatest threat. It's us. You see, our fear of anacondas is almost completely based on myth. The idea that they regularly hunt and eat people? It's just not true. Verified attacks are incredibly rare. They actively try to avoid humans. The real danger here flows in the complete opposite direction. We kill them out of fear, we hunt them for their skins, and we destroy the very habitats they need to survive. So when you finally step back and look at the whole picture, you see the truth. The anaconda isn't some powerful king. It's a survivor. Its entire life, from the moment it's born until the moment it dies, is just one long, unending struggle against danger, hunger, and fear. And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. If the animal that we all see as the king of the jungle spends its entire life just barely surviving, what does that say about our romantic ideas of nature? What does that tell us about the true and often brutal nature of the wild?